Hello everyone, welcome back to Herlefeld made by SourceWorks and Desperados93 for Farming Simulator 11. Well, the last time I had a little trouble with the game crashing on me, so hopefully that doesn't happen again to me. We're kind of just ended down here by our home, chilling near the dairy. We got rid of a number of pieces of equipment. We purchased some more, a little bit of hay equipment, a little bit of equipment to spread slurry. We got rid of a combine and tried to tighten up what we have, and really to see what we have left. Oh, there goes a blimp. We have 4 tractors and a single combine. We used some of the proceeds from selling to buy a self-propelled sprayer to hopefully take care of the needs of our fields. And unfortunately, I'm not able to show the entire PDA on the screen at the moment. We can see a goodly portion of it here. And this doesn't indicate, like it does in later versions, which fields have a particular crop in it. But I went through and kind of counted it up, and here's kind of what we're up against. We have 4 canola fields. One of them is still in the growth process, kind of up on the northwest corner of the map. It is still growing. We have 7 wheat fields, one of which is partially harvested already. We have 4 barley fields, one also partially harvested. 8 corn fields, and again, one of them partially harvested. It's kind of like the map author wanted to throw us into kind of an active farm situation where we pretty much own all of this property, and so things are kind of partially harvested. And then there's also 3 grass fields. Well, there's way more than 3 grass fields. I didn't even count those up. Probably just a wild guess. I'd say there's probably at least a dozen of them. And just happened to notice that 3 of them are already cut and might have even been tedded. And we just need to come in there and pick it up somehow, bale it or whatever. So we have some work to do, and I think, and then there's also a number of fields that have been plowed or that have already been totally harvested. I know I saw at least 1 or 2, down to stubble, either small grain or corn. And there's some fields that are just in their cultivated state. So probably to make a good run of the map here, what I will do is I'll start and harvest. I'll harvest what is open, and we will then replant it just like we would on any other normal farm. So without further ado, I don't need to cycle through the equipment. Maybe what I do is go to, let's see, that's a tractor. Where's my combine? Let me go to the tractor. I just filled it with fuel. Oh, here's something else I purchased. I have this I used over on the Feldy map, a header trailer that seemed to work pretty well in terms of holding headers on the trailer, and so we'll give that a run here. I'm going to take it out here so we can haul it off with the combine. And down on our driveway here, I kind of had a problem. Actually, what is that staying on there? I can't really even tell. I'm gonna let me detach. Oh, let me shift Q. All right, that way it detaches. I had a little bit of a problem down here, and it was only in running the combine through here, right around here. It was as if there was an invisible object sitting in the road or something that was hindering the combine. Hopefully now I can go through here, but I think what the real problem was is it was interfering with this tree. And I see now maybe why my computer may not be strong enough to run this particular app on full settings. There are scads of trees, hard objects in here, and anytime you have a solid object, it forces a game engine to render it so that if you collide with it, that's kind of part of the physics engine. Anyway, I just wanted to point that out. I went into the editor, I took the add tree, and I had it become a non-rigid object, if you will. So now it can just be driven through, you see it, and truthfully a lot of the trees here, they did make drive through. This one here might be solid. Yeah, that one's solid. Let me see if this one over here is solid. Some of them I know were, yeah, see this one is drive through. See how we can drive right on through it. That's very handy. Obviously in real life we wouldn't be hitting those trees, but it's really difficult sometimes in a game when you have all these details here where each little leaf is a potential collision. And when I say collision, a combine stopping collision, that's kind of what it does in the game. It'd never do that in real life. It may bend it, move it a little bit, but it wouldn't stop us cold. So, all right, let me switch over to the combine. This is the one we are left with. I'm going to see if I can hook up my trailer here. And the reason is this yeah, good, okay. Okay, there. I think we have it attached. The reason that I got a header trailer, and a lot of times I just don't like having them, but we don't have much choice. The roads in here are loaded with traffic. I want to stay off them as much as I can, and this is loaded with way more hard objects than what we had over on Feldy. For example, the fence that we have next here, I can't drive through it, nor would I want to. All I'm saying is I have to pay a whole lot better attention when I'm in here than I had to in Feld 8, because it's unforgiving. Even the sign here at the end, well, oh shoot, I can't even hardly turn with this trailer. Some of the, like this city light, oh, doggone it. Oh, for corn's sakes. Okay, that was close. I may need to come in here and edit some of these collisions because I'm just trying to get out the driveway, and here I got hung up on this fence post. So that is sometimes why an app author will turn off collisions. Now, maybe I'm running too big of equipment, but hey, this combine was suggested by the map author, so I'm only using, what he put in here. As we head this way, notice the Autobahn. Just pause for a moment. You can see the cars way out here coming and going. They're zipping along, so there's obviously the script is in place. It's working, which is pretty cool. And there are also side traffic, that would come in here. And I think in the previous version, or previous episode rather, we saw some of the traffic coming in here. Actually, let me turn on my beacon to be proper. But I added just a little snippet of Lua code, kind of like I had in Feldy, to limit the number of cars. There was traffic jams like right in this intersection, and I just didn't think that looked realistic. So I put a little snippet of Lua code in there to limit the number of cars that are on the side system, if you will, to 5. I think that's the limit I put in there. I tried 10. That still seemed a little busy. Yeah, there's one of the 5 right there. But, you know, basically I assume, and I'm not familiar with this region of Germany, maybe it's way busier than what I think it is. But you know, with moving equipment and things around it here, I wanted to try to make it as easy to navigate as I could. So, and because I figure it's kind of a slower town, sleepy farming community, whatever. I'm just making up excuses for shuttering the traffic a little bit. Now, something else I learned too, I did a little bit more work in the editor. Well, not really work, but just looking around, trying to figure out the paths, if you will. And here as we kind of come along, there is, oop, I can't even drive straight. This is a roadway to get down to, and actually this is the one I think I'm going to try to take. I'm just hoping this isn't a solid tree, or I might kind of hang up on it. But you don't really notice that as you come through here. There is in fact a road kind of cutting in here. Most of them are graveled. This one here looks just a little different. I think I'm cutting it okay. Getting down in here. Let me turn off my beacon. So I guess the way you can tell is that there's those little rocks on here. So we're driving by the partial harvested cornfield, and on our right is one of the 3 parcels that has some hay that's been cut and mowed. And the challenge that we have with a lot of these grass patches are going to be these pesky fence posts and the fence. Again, those are all hard objects, so anytime we're working in there, you know, we're going to be having the fence kind of as an obstacle. So I'm going to sneak down over here, and this is particularly treacherous. You know, this makes it tougher to set up routes for course play and whatnot, because you're surrounded by hard objects. And you know, some of these grass fields, I had some thought of maybe, here's the other 2 fields, one here, one there. That is our tractor over there waiting. We're going to try to windrow some of that, get that ready for pickup. But I had thought of turning some of them into arable fields. I may just leave them as grass. May as well. It's ambiance, and it'll never look the same once I tear it out. If I wanted to plant it into grass again. So this is a wheat field right ahead of us, and I think I'm going to skip up to the barley field, which is a northernmost field, or almost northernmost. And here, by the way, you have a little skinny, narrow field in here, again surrounded by these fence posts. So I don't know, maybe it's just designed for much smaller equipment, but let me tell you, this is going to be painful harvesting for hay in here. So I have a feeling that that's one area I'm just not going to touch. And you know, as we see, I think this has been plowed over here, another grass field. You know, this may be, if there's no fence posts over here, this may be a situation where I can merge the 2 fields and make it a little more efficient, turn part of it arable or what have you. But for the moment, I'm going to just enjoy kind of how it is. Oh, and it appears we didn't even cover the edges here, so actually, what am I doing? Let me try to keep this along the edge. Now that we're out of the field that we want to be on, let me shinny my way kind of up the side. And alright, so take that off. I'm very pleased that this was able to keep my header on this whole time. And I'm going to run over the crop here a little bit. Please forgive me. Oh, you know what? I don't know. Okay, Made it jump a little bit. So, let me get turned around and we're going to activate this puppy. And we're going to find out in a moment here whether the map author... shoot. Kids, don't do this at home. This is not what you would do in real life. But let me put my header down. I'm going to move the header trailer just a little bit up and get it kind of out of the way. Or that's kind of what the goal was. But I have a feeling that we'll crank up our doots. Sometimes, you know, I don't know that's very often that you'll see a map, you know, that's partially started by the mapper, like this one here. And if you do, what can tend to happen is it doesn't look real, and it's because someone drew it in the editor, and it doesn't represent something that was done in game. I suppose if somebody really wanted to do it right, they would take it in game, they would partially harvest it, you know, and take care of some of those details, you know, so that the, for example, you know, based on the size of this header, did this windrow and that one look a little too far apart? And I think they are probably. And here we're just making an even bigger windrow. So it probably was just drawn in the editor, and that's okay. You know, I seem to recall the Riverside map back in the day for Farm Sim 11 also had some, yeah, not too fast, whatever. But yeah, the windrows coming out don't look like it happened in game, because you know, if you came along here and turned around, you would have a windrow trailing it. So yeah, I think we've confirmed it was drawn in an editor. Not intended as a criticism, but just an observation. Hey, we're right beside the Autobahn, and someone, if anybody watches this, that's been on the real life Autobahn, is that kind of how it looks? Is it 4 lanes coming and going, maybe with a side lane? Now let me see here. Do I want to do it on the angle, or I know it's probably usually better just to try to do it on the, I don't know what you call that. I just try to keep it on 90. And then get going with a higher. Actually, I probably need to, yeah, I still have the remember. Alright, take it away, hired dude. Yeah, that might be just enough to pick that up. So I think we have enough space. Yeah, it probably isn't going to grab that, but that's alright. So, well, maybe that is the right distance between the windrows. Whatever. Alright, so we'll need to do something with the straw later. Yeah, they kind of were doing back and forth over here. A little bit different, but whatever, we'll get her done. So I need to get a tractor out here. Let me get my big one, the 6. Is that the one I want? I think this is the one I want. And I will head it out to the field as we commence barley harvest. And you know, when we start a map like this, we don't really, actually I'm gonna go get a weight. We don't really have a choice as to, well, we would. I mean, if we redid it in the editor, we could change everything that we wanted to. But if we started off as to how the author intended, you know, we're not really going to have a choice as to how, or the efficiency of the layout, if you will. I turned too soon. So in other words, when we replant, we may try to strategize it more as to where or what we put in a particular field. So now this over here, by the way, our central storage is in here. So yeah, I'll have to give that some. I don't think we have anything in storage at the moment, right? Because we started on hard. Yeah, there's nothing in here. Okay. Nothing at all. Head on out to the field to do a little carting. So we're going to have a little distance we have to go here to get to the main farm, but we'll make it. You know, I'd be probably the first to say that incorporating a 4-lane highway into a map probably isn't something I would choose to do. But I know I live in the U.S., I've been on our interstate highway, and you know, they go through major cities or around them, and they go through some of the most desolate, barren land you've ever seen. Our combine stopped. That was a script I brought over from Feldy. And so I guess it makes sense, you know, that you would have a 4-lane highway out in the middle of farming country. And it's pretty cool that someone came up, you know, with a script to simulate the Autobahn. I can tell those cars are moving quicker than the standard ones do in game. So I'd have to look that up again. Don't they drive crazy fast on the Autobahn? Like something's telling me that there isn't even a speed limit, that you just go however fast you want to go, and you just better pray that you're safe and don't get in an accident, and it's all good. But if you do, well, it's not a good idea. Now, is this, I think, oh yeah, this will work perfect. We have a small and incidentally, it doesn't show on the PDA, but right over here, there's actually a bridge that goes over the Autobahn. You can see it over here. Yeah, it just doesn't show on the PDA. So if there's a need, and we're kind of at the northern end of the map here, but if there's ever a need, we can sneak across the bridge. And maybe when I take this back to the farm, I will try the route there. I kind of like to see how wide it is, you know, to see just whether it's feasible to bring farm equipment across it or what have you. Alright, so that was a full combine load, filled 40% of the trailer, so that means we'll easily fit another load. So maybe what I can do is, while we're waiting for the combine, why don't you take a full path? Well, that's just kind of silly. I don't know what's up with that. So maybe let me go to 5, and we'll kind of get in the... Oh, so I gotta stay out of the way of all hard objects. So let me get this going. And that's kind of cool. Different color grass kind of underneath. And I guess I'm going this way because I want to kind of take it away from the fence, if you will. But I'm trying to figure out, I'm seeing different colors kind of stacked up here. I know in the past, Farm Sim 11 has been a little wonky, where, if you have grass that is tedded, and you come in to rake it, kind of like I'm doing here, that it will sometimes put the regular grass texture on there, even though it's supposed to have been tethered. So that's kind of interesting. I'll ask, can I? Okay. Maybe I can do this in 2. I am zipping right along. Yommers. Alright, now I'm a little uncertain on what to do. Can I double that up? I'm not sure I can. So, yeah, the problem you have is in this version of the game, you couldn't stack very much up. So if you tried to... Okay. Let me hug at the side here. Oh, this is going to be interesting. I'd like to just put it on top, but I don't think I can. So, actually, let me keep tabs on my combine, still happily harvesting away. And I maybe I need to do one more kind of around before I do back and forth. It's just that these pesky fences, and don't get me wrong, I don't mean to complain. Nothing begrudging, or it's just good natured. It's just an extra challenge, that we're going to need to factor into the work we're doing. Of course, there'd be fences galore. There are fences galore in real life, so just one of those things that a farmer needs to deal with. Looks like I started turning too soon. Back out here a little bit. We'll complete the round, and yes, the combine, I believe, is ready to be emptied again. Get this over here. And it's an interesting texture that's under the grass here. Kind of a cut grass texture. It's kind of interesting. Oh, well, I just go, see, I gotta remember. Okay, not 3. I think I just tab, right? That's what I do. Kind of handy not having the pipe and the fruit. And the unfortunate thing is, this will get me to 80%, but that means I can only hold half of a load the next time. So, it is what it is. I think I can just zip along. So I'm assuming everything we see in here is going to ultimately grow back. So yeah, I think I need to keep doing it this way. If I do back and forth. You'll have to figure out just how to do this. And like I say, I think that this has already been tedded, but I don't know that it matters. Maybe what I'll try to do is bale some of this, and some of it may... Oh, I don't know that I have anything to pick up loose, but you know what? I probably could buy something. maybe before I run out of money, because who knows how long this will take, I should purchase for myself this here, 15. Is that the only size? No, there's other size, 53,000. That's a, oh my goodness, that's 100 grand. Bergman, 135. Jiminy, 43,000. That's 90. How much was the 100? Wait, how much does it hold? That's 43,000. This other up here, 53,000. That was 100. Yeah, maybe it's a good thing I get that now. It'll be at the store, but then I can come pick this up at some point loose and not have to do all of it in bale form. I'm sure everybody just heard the alarm go off, signaling the end of when, or the time when I need to stop boring you all. So I think the combine is still going up there. So we got ourselves a fair bit of work to do here. And yeah, I'm enjoying what I'm seeing so far. I appreciate the hills. I do like the extra little challenges of the fence, even though it sounds like I'm griping about it. It'll be what it'll be. It'll add that little bit of realism. And I like the hills. And I kind of like the layout. There's going to be plenty to do in here for a while. Although, I gotta say, I'm not sure it'll have quite the staying power or appeal that, like, Feldy had to me. Because Feldy just had so many more things going on. But that's okay. This is a great little map. And as I know I've said many times, maps are my favorite kind of mod. Always have been and always will be, even as much as I dabble in scripts for my own little modding endeavors. Must be getting to shorter rows up the air. The combine taking its time to get filled. So maybe I will just leave you here, bid you adieu, and I will see you on the next one. Thank you for stopping by, and hope you're having a wonderful day. Bye-bye.